Don't you love it when a character behaves in a way you cannot read? Why do we need to define everything we see almost all the time, both in fiction and in life? Let's dive now in this episode, in this brief moment in an episode of Mad Men, to see how fiction can help us understand or feel the value of ambiguity. Of course, in so-called real life, we are full of these ambiguous moments, but the thing with life, I believe, is that ambivalence in human behavior is harder to enjoy than in fiction. We are, as humans, wired to define whether someone else's look, for example, is caring or dangerous. Reading other people's minds is one of our most important evolutionary capacities. We have an amazing mastery in reading others' inner life. That's a survival mechanism. In his book, The Science of Storytelling, Will Storr explains that babies, they start imitating other people's faces within an hour after they are born. We are born, and just an hour after we are born, we are already mimicking other people's faces. And it seems that something other species don't do that much. Monkeys, for example, they don't spend so much time looking at other monkeys' faces as we humans do. We express a lot in our faces. And of course, we also misread, we misinterpret, we fail at reading others. And that's probably the main source of all or most of our dramas as humans. Well, fiction can use that misunderstanding. It actually does use it. If ambiguity can be a problem in real life, in fiction, ambiguity is pure gold. In fiction, this difficulty of reading can be a treasure. As Hoi Lun Law points out in his beautiful book Ambiguity and Film Criticism, the difficulty of reading is an invitation to explore. So let's explore this brief moment in Mad Men. I've already talked about a scene in the second episode of Mad Men in my video about the value of getting lost, but let's look at another scene now. The episode is called Ladies' Room and is all about machismo and the situation of men and women. Betty feeling off because she has everything to be happy, but she's not, and she doesn't even dare to think she's not happy. And Don doesn't like the idea that she sees this psychiatrist. He doesn't like not knowing what she wants or needs. And at the same time, he is needing to figure out the approach for a campaign concerning women's desires. So he keeps asking, what do women want? We know Don is cheating on Betty, but at the same time he's loving and caring with her, so it's not so easy for us to judge him. And as for Betty, we see how she behaves almost as a girl, and for moments it even feels more she's Don's daughter rather than his wife. But it's not that we can judge her either. We understand she's been raised this way, and of course it's the 60s. Meanwhile, Peggy is being harassed by men in the office, and she finds out that there are women copywriters. And she finds all these co-workers crying in the bathroom, so the episode is clearly focused on the place of women. It's as if both Betty and Peggy are kind of waking up to their own needs and desires. So near the end of the episode, there's a scene in which Don and Betty go for dinner at a restaurant in the city, and while Betty is pouring lemon on her drink, she goes, "This is nice." The camera goes up and Don stares at her, and in that look it's like the whole complexity of the whole episode is summed up, like layered all together. I would say this is one of these moments in film where I go like, yes, we humans are so complex and rich, and fiction has this beautiful power of celebrating this richness, this complexity. And this is not just a moment of fine acting, it's also a moment of fine directing. Because in general, in movies or TV, when direction is caught in the need of stating things like delivering messages, well, the actor's expression is usually also caught in that need. When the director wants to point something out and deliver a message, the actor needs to obey to that idea, so the body of the actor gets imprisoned in the idea of the director. So what we find here is a simple look, just 2 seconds long, that is at the same time caring and pitiful and probably also full of guilt and regret or even worry. We know Don is seeing these other women, and we already know that he hides information about his past, but we also know he loves his wife and children and wants the best for them, so it's kind of hard to grasp and to define, to fixate. We know he's a powerful man, and yet at the same time we start to perceive he's hurt and full of insecurities. My reading is all of that is layered in this 2-second look. Sobriety in acting many times allows for these ambiguous moments, and the actor John Hamm, he could have made a gesture defining the emotion as he does in other moments of the series, but in this moment he didn't. And that's a win, because not defining so much in the acting leaves room for the viewer to read, to interpret, to create meaning. I think it was writer John Cheever who said something like, we look for morals in fiction, morality, but that's a confusion, meaning fiction is not supposed to state things about what's good and what's bad. And that's what Spanish writer Javier Cercas also talks about. A novel, he says, shouldn't tell the readers what to think. And if it does that, that's a bad writer, he goes. And then I remember this poem by Raymond Carver that near the end goes, "This morning there's snow everywhere. We remark on it. You tell me you didn't sleep well. I say I didn't either. You had a terrible night, me too. We are extraordinarily calm and tender with each other, as if sensing the other's rickety state of mind. As if we knew what the other was feeling. We don't, of course. We never do, no matter. It's the tenderness I care about. That's the gift this morning that moves and holds me, same as every morning." We cannot know, Carver goes, we cannot know what the other one is actually deeply feeling or thinking. And that's okay. We don't need to. We don't need to know. But we are always trying to, because it's a survival mechanism. But poetry and the art of fiction can stop that mechanism, at least suspend it for a bit, and help us, invite us to appreciate not knowing what the other is feeling. How beautiful to see this moment in Mad Men and stop this tendency, this obsessive need to define whether Don is being pitiful or caring or dangerous or, and step back from that need and say, okay, what if all of those things can be true at the same time? So that's what I want to leave you with, this question. What does it mean that we can feel many things at the same time? What does it mean that a character can be experiencing different layers of emotion at the same time? Why do we need to define all the time what the other one is feeling or thinking? if fiction is a context where survival mechanism can be suspended, put on hold, why are we as viewers usually trying to define whether this or that? What if we ask ourselves, what does it mean that both can be true at the same time? So that's my main idea here. If in daily life we need to determine whether a look is this or that, in fiction, in art, we can celebrate ambiguity and avoid taking a stance. And we can ask ourselves, what does it mean that all of these readings of the same moment can be true at the same time? Thanks for listening, thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.